It's the Score North Twin Show.
I talked to Sonny earlier in the game, and I told him there were some free outs on the bases. And he was like, what do you mean? I'm like, they're taking big leads. And if you look at me, I'll give you a sign, and in key spots we can get some outs there. It felt like the right situation to do it, 3-2 count. Vladdy was getting a huge lead. Obviously, he's trying to score on a single. Bichette, he's a pure hitter. Knows how to hit the ball the other way, knows how to find holes. Always pretty much leading the league in hits, and I felt like that was the right spot to do it, and I gave him the sign, and we executed it.
God, what a badass, man.
Brilliant play.
God,
it's incredible.
Can't believe
Brilliant
you guys
series.
you questioned him all season like that, Judd. I never lost faith. Yeah.
Well, no, you know what's funny is we did talk about for those who aren't necessarily selective listeners of the Score North Twin Show, we did talk about a lot what he provided at shortstop.
Dude, his
we were
defense,
all on the same page with that. Now was his regular season at the plate a disappointment? Absolutely. But I think all three of us at different times discussed that his defense at shortstop cannot be taken for granted because he and in this series as well, and pretty regularly, Michael Taylor too, those two guys make plays look routine that we've seen aren't routine.
Dude, I don't think it's hyperbole to say Carlos Correa's defense swayed that series. We're never going to be able to fully measure because the things that he did with his glove and his arm and his legs prevented things from happening. So it's like the danger that you can't see. Carlos Correa was sort of shielding us all from it, right? But how many additional runs score if he doesn't make that play on Bichette sliding home, right? How long does that inning continue? If they don't pick off Vlad at second base, does Bichette, who again, like Correa was saying, one of the best hitters of the last 10 years in terms of just pure batting average, do they get an extra 2 runs, 3 runs? Do they even the series? Like it's almost immeasurable. And then there's also this other immeasurable quality he has of just having won a World Series before and having been a huge, Sam Cassell big balls playoff performer before. And he brings all of that swag and confidence and self-assuredness into the rest of the players. And so, yeah, man, like worth every penny in that first series to get all of those, 19 years of demons just shoot away. I think it was worth the price of Carlos Correa. And
I think what speaks volumes about his glove is he drove in a key run in game 2, and we didn't really talk about it because what he did defensively. And when Gray comes out and says that's all Correa, like he saw it, he knew the crowd noise would impact it, and that's the other thing. You know what? And we spent the post-game 2 games talking about this, but now it's really quantifiable. The noise in that stadium swayed that play. There's no question about it. Like I don't think you put that play on, or you certainly don't probably have the success that you did without that stadium being that loud.
Dude, it's amazing. I don't know if it was quite Metrodome loud, but it was like impact the game loud, obviously, with that play at second base.
Absolutely.
So Declan has a pie chart of praise here. Declan's just been taking all sorts of flack for a week ago, saying he doesn't want. Now, it was our hottest Twins take segment. That's the funny thing, too. We did a hottest Twins take segment. I think that's where that fell under. And Declan said, here's my take. I don't want. Oh, no, I don't think it was. It was actually just our 26-man roster.
Filtered off the top rope, hot take, and I went swanton bomb into a table with the guy rolling off the table.
And you have, Twitter has been. I thought the Crusaders, the Cousins Crusaders, were bad.
I think these guys
Griffin Jax must have an army.
The Griffin Grifters. The Griffin Grifters.
He's in the Air Force, so I think there's a whole bunch of airmen, military people.
Biggio tried to kill him yesterday.
Like my brother was in the Air Force, so I got no problems with the military.
But they're coming for
the troops. But I am. Yep. The infantry is coming. Yes.
So we'll see if we'll see if Declan apologizes formally to Griffin Jax and if Griffin Jax makes the pie chart of praise here. But before we get to that, a couple house cleaning items here, boys. The Twins, we have playoff game times, so we'll start with that here. The game on Saturday is going to start at 3:45 Central Time. So that's at Houston, Game 1, 3:45 Central Time, Fox Sports 1. And then Game 2 will be a primetime game on Fox Sports 1 at 7 o'clock. So if you're trying to figure out, like we are, how do these games interact with the big football games this weekend? Basically, you start that Twins game at 3:45, and then the Gophers start 3 hours later against Michigan. And then on Sunday, Vikings-Chiefs at 3:20 or 3:15. Twins Astros at 7 o'clock Central Time. So not a whole lot of interference with your football and your baseball viewing options here.
Do we by chance, and he probably has a football assignment on Sunday, so perhaps not, do we by chance get Phil's guy, Kenny Albert?
Oh!
Fox Sports 1.
It's Kenny Albert.
Well,
on Sunday? Do we get Nance for the baseball game?
I'm saying the baseball. Oh. He's doing some baseball for Fox.
Oh, is he doing baseball for Fox?
He's done some baseball, yeah.
Because TBS has the NLDS, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So would he get? Because he's with Turner.
Who
does he work for?
Fox for
Fox.
football.
He does work
and
for
Turner
Fox.
for hockey.
Turner for hockey.
You're
That's
right.
Weird. Yes.
But he's not a Turner baseball guy.
Got it.
And so is he a Fox baseball guy? He does Fox.
He does football and
Kenny
baseball
Albert
for
here
Fox.
in Houston. It's the Twins and the Astros.
But the thing about this
Game
is,
1.
So Burkhart, it's Burkhart and Smoltz as their top team, right?
Yeah.
I highly doubt they're going to do the Astros Twins.
No, we get the other guy. There's the other guy that did some games, like AJ Przynski will probably be, right?
Yeah,
Wasn't he part of that?
But your guy, Kenny, has worked with Przynski at times. So that's what I'm speculating.
It's AJ Przynski and Kenny Albert.
I just want to hear you do your Kenny Albert impersonation after every single game.
Maybe I can do it on the microphone at Target Field this weekend because the Twins are going to host some watch parties. So Saturday, the doors open at Target Field at 2:30 for that 3:45 first pitch. And concession stands are going to be open for food and beverage. And then on Sunday for Game 2, 6 o'clock, the gates open for that. Of course, the Vikings are going to be playing right down the street. So downtown's going to be popping this weekend. If you want tickets, go to twins.com/watch party. So it's free to get in, but I think you do have to claim a ticket. So go to twins.com/watch party to get in there. But let's get to the pie chart of praise here. Declan's going to slice this thing up.
The Rock knows how you feel about pie.
Is this a pie chart of praise for the series victory, right? For the full series? Okay.
That is correct for the 2 victories for the Twins over the Blue Jays. I don't have MLB elongated bed. So I was going to get the football bed just to play something.
Or the Turner bed for baseball.
I can do Turner. I can do NHL. I can do that's the hockey one. I have the hockey Turner bed.
The Turner baseball bed's actually pretty good.
I don't have that one.
Phil had that one for a while.
Yeah, it's funny. I took a lot of the baseball beds off my button bar because we didn't have a twin show for 2 years.
We didn't do a twin show.
They're in file somewhere.
For a very long time.
The football bed's fine. We can use the football bed.
That's the football bed. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all.
There we go. All right. Here it is. The pie chart of praise for the Twins' first playoff series victory in 21 years.
The Rock knows how you feel about pie.
All right, so old Dex tweets after he got done with Ventline yesterday, poured himself a cocktail, and then started cooking up a pie. Again, Vinny was helping. I said, sniff this. Sound like a good idea? No, Dad, this doesn't sound like a good idea. You need to put the right stuff on here.
It didn't burn, right?
No burning.
Like you didn't keep pouring yourself drinks, and the next thing you knew, the house was aflame.
No, there were a couple.
The fiance was pissed off, and the dog was like, "What the hell are you doing, dude?"
No, there were a couple cocktails poured in celebration of a series win for the first time in 19 years. So I have 6 pieces of pie.
Okay.
6.
The Rock knows how you feel about pie.
I'm going to start from the bottom, work my way up, starting with the smallest slice here, 5%. 5% to the fans.
Yeah, okay.
5% to the Target Field fans who packed that place, were loud, didn't have much of that nervous energy. Were there times of crisis a little bit during this series? Absolutely. But the fans showed up. They were loud. They were boisterous. They were chanting pitchers' names. They made their impact felt on the game 100%. The players are playing, the fans are cheering, but you can't tell me that the fans didn't have some type of impact on that series.
They picked off a player.
They helped pick off a player. I can't, and you could probably say, hey, only 5%, come on, but I'm going to relegate that to some other pieces of pie here, but they deserve a spot on the pie chart of praise, so 5% for the first piece.
It was a different Minnesota sports fan energy than I can remember recently. A lot of it I think is because of the damage and the torment that we've all been through, that it's hard to just keep walking down the same street and having the same anvil dropped on your head, right? Year after year after year. How do you block out everything that's happened and then kind of rise above it as a fan? But then you go watch some of the other games, like watch the Philadelphia fans. Philadelphia fans expect their team to win championships at this point, or at least to go deep. They've been to 7 different NLDS series in the last however many years. The Eagles going to Super Bowls. So you watch those fans, those are confident, brash, cocky people. I felt in its own way, like Minnesotans are different than people from Philadelphia, but this is the most brash I think I have felt Minnesota sports fans or Twins fans being in a long, long time.
I think the tone was set. Game 1, bottom of the first, Royce comes up, and it's like, oh my God, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Home run. And it's like, okay, it's on now.
Mm-hmm. All right, so 5% fans.
All right, next piece of pie, 10%. 10% to Griffin Jax.
Yes, there it is. Griffin Jax.
Eat your words.
Apologize.
Eat it.
Apologize.
Griffin Jax, who I said those 10 losses, I can't have it. He has 71 appearances in the regular season, only 23 holds, for God's sakes. I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. I know they won't do it, but I don't feel good about this. But damn it, Griffin Jax comes in and shuts Dex Tweets up, puts him in a coma, and everyone is just dancing on his grave. Go for it. Dance on my grave, Griffin Jax fans. Dance on my grave, Griffin Jax, for all that matter. You came in, you delivered 2 epic appearances. You held the game intact. You did the job that you were supposed to do. You did it damn well. You gave up a leadoff double to one of the best hitters in baseball. Didn't matter, doesn't faze you because you mow down the next 3 hitters that you faced. Griffin Jax deserves a pie chart of praise and an apology from yours truly.
Wow.
There it is. There it is.
See, Judd, you've never done that, okay? The amount of times where someone has demanded you apologize to a player. That's how you do it right there. That's how you apologize.
Hold on a second. I did apologize. I did apologize, or at least confessed I was completely wrong on Kepler. Because I did say halfway through, DFA him, I'm done here.
Do you want to? I don't think you formally apologized to Max, though.
Actually,
would you like to?
owe the apology more, I think, to Derek and Thad probably than Max. But they turned out to be exactly right. But Declan, I'm proud. And, when Vladdy smoked that ball off the wall, there was a fleeting thought, oh my God, Declan's going to be exactly right here.
And I did not fire off an emotional tweet. I said,
move.
wait.
And you're still getting piled on.
Wait. As I said this to both you guys, that was a no-lose situation for Dex Tweets. Either Griffin Jax delivers and the Twins win playoff games, or I look like a genius. There's no there's
You're
no
happy either
lose
way.
here. There's no lose.
You're happy
for me.
either way.
Yeah. If if you had given the same take that I did and Griffin Jax did that, what of your rebuttal would you have apologized? What would Judd Zolgad have done if this was reversed, if you gave the exact
I would have pointed out he gave up a shot to Guerrero. It got a little dicey.
I don't think because it's hard to take what he did and twist it into something that.
Somebody shut him up.
Those Twins truthers, they got
somebody got to him. Somebody got to Mackey. Who do you think got to him?
Probably the same guys who are tap dancing on my tweets right now.
It might have been me because he was trying to explain what I might have done, and I just cut the cord.
No, and I 100% understand that. Yeah, but I thought I don't know what you would have done. I was very curious.
I'm not sure in that case because that's a hot take.
It is. It was a very hot take.
I did back up from my desk and said,
"What?
Yeah, what?" So let's not act like I was on board there. I was absolutely shocked.
No, it was a pretty shocking one.
So 5% to fans, 10% to Jax.
So yeah, a couple pieces of pie down here on this pie chart of praise.
15% though. We got plenty to go.
We got a lot of pie left. Right. We got a lot of pie left, and I believe
Mackey
is back.
Dude,
there you go.
I think they're literally they've given us the warning that they're doing some construction and some internet maintenance, and so there's strike one. Here's how Judd would have spun it. I think if this were him, you would have said, "That's great. That's great. You did great in the first 2 appearances, the first series.
Oh,
there's an LDS, there's an ALCS, and there's a World Series. Okay, keep doing it.
The Stugats, do it in the DS, do it in the league championship.
That's a good question.
Series.
So is your apology premature? Well, it's not because it's for the series. So,
but dude, like, yeah, you're right. It was the roster for the series. But what happens if he comes in and just like
Astros
they're up by
light
3 runs and he gives
Crawford
up a 4
boxes.
Yeah. Do you then come
Bregman
back?
hits a home run.
Do you then retweet the video that everyone else is tweeting out, clowning you, and say, "Told you so"?
And I go, what?
Maybe. I don't know.
All right.
Depends how I'm feeling. Depends how that loss happens.
Yeah. See.
Yep.
Sometimes depends
The
on
Rock
how the loss
knows
goes.
how you feel about pie.
Or the win.
All right, 4 pieces of pie left here. 20%. You'll notice a theme, I think, here next. 20% to Carlos Correa. Man, what a savvy playoff veteran here who delivered some clutch defensive moments. He obviously, gets the big RBI single that helps them offensively, but he is worth every single penny for what you saw him do in the field. Obviously, the 2 amazing plays, the pickoff in Game 2, the epic throw at home. That's, definitely, I think, going to be remembered for a very long time. I was with Royce. I didn't see that angle until you watch it from behind. Like, there's another angle of that play. It is absurd how quickly he gets to that ball, fires it on time, and makes it happen. So Carlos Correa, who had 3 hits in this series, okay, by the way, still had a pretty solid offensive series, but we're all looking at his defense, which is still rightfully so. He deserves a big chunk of pie, 20% to Carlos Correa.
Love it, man. Yeah. He's, I think we've already, we can get to the next chunk because I think there's nothing else we can say that we haven't said over the last 3 episodes. The guy was incredible, and yes. All right, next chunk.
Next chunk of pie, 20%. Might think this is too low. You might think this is too low, but it's hard to divvy up the pie appropriately here. 20% to Royce Lewis.
Wow. Okay. 20%
to Royce Lewis. Now he single-handedly carried them in Game 1. He had all 3 RBI.
Yep.
Scored 2 of the 3 runs. And obviously was only be able to DH, but still was a tough out. I mean, it's amazing when you have an opposing manager who is making pitching changes and pitching around to a guy who has 50 games under his major league career and is the biggest threat in this offense. He was incredible. He had the Kirby Puckett moment. He had that swagger about him in the playoffs, coming off the bench cold after not playing baseball in 2 weeks, and delivers what, for my money, was the best Twins playoff moment I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It's the best Twins playoff moment I have ever seen in my life.
Well,
just a moment.
Unless you're going to take one from a loss and elevate it above Royce Lewis in a win, the options are pretty slim, right?
It is slim.
Pierzynski hitting a bomb against the A's? I think you're right. Because you take 91 out, you weren't around for 1991, right? So,
nope, wasn't there.
Judd, I think they've only won. Think about this. If we're only taking moments from wins, right?
Yeah.
They've only, this was only their 1, 2, 3, sixth. So they beat the A's in 3 games. They are in 5 games. So 3 wins there. They won 1 game against the Angels, 2 against the Yankees in 0-3. This is only their 7th playoff game win since 1991. So,
no, it's incredible, but that's, yes.
Shannon Stewart with the catch at Yankee Stadium in the corner. That was incredible. But yeah, man, it's up there.
And this came at home, so it creates the excitement as well.
Yes.
Because, again, that first home run to me set a certain tone.
You know what's hilarious is in 2017 in the wild card game when Dozier and Rosario go back-to-back in Yankee Stadium, that's now just a forgotten memory because you blew the game. That was an epic start to a game. That has potential to be as important as this Royce Lewis home run to a degree because it's at Yankee Stadium in the House of Horrors, and yet no one really cares or really gives it any credit anymore because you blew.
Well, what was game 1 in 19? It was the top of the first, right? Polanco hit a home run.
I think so.
They got off to a good start.
Right. I think that also
in the top of the first, I believe, in 19.
Yeah.
But I mean, you lost the game, so ultimately, who cares?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, we're making our way here.
The Rock knows how you feel about pie.
2 more slices, and you've already burned Correa and Lewis. This is interesting.
20% to a tag team of Sonny Gray and Pablo Lopez. They're going to get one. They're on one piece of pie here.
Together. Okay.
Putting them together here. Your game 1 and 2 starters who were excellent. Your horses. They delivered, man. They absolutely delivered. Sonny Gray didn't have his best stuff necessarily, but he's a bulldog. You put runners on base, doesn't matter. He's still going to find ways to get outs. Pablo Lopez didn't have the strongest the strikeout numbers as we've seen during the regular season. I think just 3 strikeouts in his 5 and 2 innings of work in game 1. But still starting pitching, man, it sets the table. And that Blue Jays lineup is definitely lackluster. It didn't live up to its potential on paper. But still, when you have Chapman batting 8th, he's batting 8th in that lineup.
Yeah.
That's an incredible. That just goes to show how incredible it is. And those starting pitchers carried you, in my opinion, to a win as well. So Sonny Gray, Pablo Lopez are linked together. They're handcuffed on this piece of pie, and 20% to them.
Yeah, I think those guys would probably fight to each have their own slice of pie. But yes, that is about as much as you can possibly ask for in the first 2 games from your starting pitchers. And you kind of look around now, you're like, the Astros, not only are they not as fearsome maybe as they've been before, but if you're them, you're looking at the Twins starting pitchers and some of these bullpen guys. Like, how do you figure out how to score 4, 5, 6 runs? It's not as easy with some of the compared to some of the previous Twins pitching staffs that have run out in postseason series.
There's a certain pressure on the Astros, I think, to get game 1 too now.
Mm-hmm. Because they're going to have a distinct advantage, right? Is Verlander confirmed? Verlander versus
I've not seen starters yet.
Like a Joe Ryan or somebody, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I think that there's a pressure to get game 1 that, back in 19 didn't necessarily exist. Let's say that.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
The Rock knows
the
how
biggest
you feel about
slice.
pie.
The biggest slice and the last piece, you'll notice if you're doing math at home, there's 25% left.
Try not to do math, Declan.
Or 20%, and then we'll get you the 5% tomorrow.
I'm just
That's true. I literally double-checked this 4 times, and I'm still scared it's not right.
If it's at the bottom of your notes, maybe. I lost it.
Biggest chunk of pie, 25% to the manager, Rocco Baldelli. Rocco Baldelli pulled all the right strings in this series, man.
Wow.
We ripped him in 2019, ripped him in 2020. Toronto went full old Rocco. We're pulling Jose Barrios in game 2. Rocco Baldelli pulled all the right strings. Puts in Griffin Jax for a second straight time when Emilio Pagan hasn't thrown yet. You got other arms in there that are ready to go. Doesn't matter. Puts Duran right back into the game and to close things out in 1 and 2. Doesn't matter. It works out well. Makes the pinch hitting opportunities. Donovan Solano works a couple good at-bats. He pulled every right string for the Twins, and he deserves, in my opinion, the biggest slice of pie.
Never
Rocco,
doubted
come on
Rocco.
down.
Never doubted Rocco.
I fired him in June, but beyond that.
You fired him about 6 times this year, I feel like.
Yeah. Jace Tingler, though, did a great job. I think Jace
The Rock
Tingler told
knows how you
Baldelli
feel
what to
about
do.
pie.
That's the difference from 19 and 20.
How would Judd spin it is the
That's
other
what
pie
he.
chart
That's
here.
what he did.
Rocco, me, you, Joe, Ryan, let's go to a Grateful Dead concert and have some fun, huh? 25%
Wow.
to Rocco Baldelli. Not even into
Amazing.
Grateful Dead, really, but I'll go with concert
Well,
with them. That'd be
Fish.
fun.
Fish would be good, too.
Or Fish would be good. Yeah.
So 5% fans, 10% Griffin Jax, 20% to Carlos Correa, 20% to Royce Lewis, 20% split between Pablo and Sonny, and 25% to the manager.
The Rock knows
Judd,
how you feel about pie.
So I personally probably put Correa and Lopez above Baldelli, but I think your problem is you so denigrated Griffin Jax. Like ordinarily, I think you don't have Jax
If
on
the take doesn't
this-
happen,
yes.
he's not on this podcast.
And then you can get the pieces
I
of pie.
think bullpen would have been part of it because the bullpen was incredible too. So,
yeah, I mean,
I think Correa and Lewis are my top 2 pie chart pieces. And I think Correa, I think it's Correa and then Royce because Correa helped save game 1 and then he basically won you game 2.
right. And I wanted Duran on here, but also like
Right.
I also
Well, you could've
believe
done bullpen.
Duran did his job. Like you
you
put in your
denigrated
closer.
Griffin Jax.
Exactly.
You embarrassed him so badly.
I would have gone Royce Lewis with the biggest chunk just because the guy just came in from the opening introductions was just a ball of energy,
Yeah.
just a franchise changer, and then he just hits tanks to put the Twins ahead 1-0 in the series. He just set such a tone. But yeah, I mean, I think the only snubs I would say are like other bullpen guys.
Right.
So, but this is pretty good pie chart here.
Although I think we need to keep one thing in mind, okay? The Barrios pull was terrible. We all agree. The worst pull of all time up through now is Blake Snell in the World Series.
Oh yeah,
that's
Kevin
the worst.
Cash. Yeah,
that's
that
the
was
worst. That Kevin Cash and it's not just the manager, but that is still way worse. In a World Series that you could have won, you basically self-sabotaged. You did what the Jays did in a wild card round in the biggest moment in your franchise history, really.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, on that note, so our CFO Dave Bessler at Hubbard Radio sent us this clip. It's like a 6-minute clip. I'm just gonna give you some audio from my phone here of a Blue Jays. It's a Toronto TV personality. They got their like Tim Hortons sponsored coffee mugs, and this guy is like ready to rage. See if you guys can hear this.
People have been DMing me, messaging me. What is Sid going to say tomorrow?
People have not been DMing you.
Yes,
Are you serious?
Sid, 100%.
I'm sorry
yes,
for your DMs.
They have,
Okay.
because people want to hear what's about to happen.
So let's do it. First off, I want to credit Jose Barrios. For those people who don't know who he is at home, he is the pitcher that the Blue Jays brought in. That gentleman, watching the Twins celebrate after the game yesterday,
His sad
he was pitching,
photo.
By all eyeball accounts in the park, he was throwing the best he'd thrown all season yesterday. The Jays took him out after 3 innings. I'll get to that in a second. This young man handled it with a level of class I would not have handled. I would have gotten an Uber, flown back to Toronto, and demanded a trade.
Dude, you could see John Schneider after the decision too. Royce touched on this, like on our Royce Unchained. This is coming from above, right?
Yeah.
And John Schneider in the dugout, he gets in and he's got his arm around Barrios and he's getting in his ear, basically like you can't see what he's saying, but Barrios is kind of, I know. You know, John Schneider's telling him, guy, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like this was decided 2 days ago. We love you. You were lights out, but like it's out of my hands. So don't blame me. I love you. And teammates are coming up to him. You know, maybe he would have given up 5 runs and they wound up only giving up 2. But I just don't know how
How does nobody say at that point, call off the dogs, abort plan? I don't know what you'd say, but how do you not say, hey, you know what? He's throwing really well.
Yeah, and then you don't even get the platoon advantage because the Twins bring in Donnie Barrels comes in. Like you bring in some good hitters to take good at bats. And
So Ross Atkins is the Blue Jays general manager.
Yep.
He was hired. He got fired yesterday. On October 4th, the Toronto Blue Jays fired Atkins after. That's on Wikipedia. It's the best thing about Wikipedia. Everyone can make edits to it.
Somebody wanted to. You know what? Jose Barrios got into Ross Atkins' Wikipedia page and put that.
That's funny. It does literally say on October 4th, the Blue Jays fired Atkins after the team failed to win yet another playoff series. That is not. That did not happen yet. That did not happen yet.
Phenomenal. But he did come from Cleveland.
Yes.
He did come from Cleveland.
Well, look, the Twins did. The Blue Jays played.
That's awesome.
The Blue Jays managed and their philosophy in this series, I think, was incredibly close to the Twins' Houston series in 2020.
Yeah. Whit Merrifield said, I quote, "I hated it on the decision to pull Jose Barrios."
It's because he's not playing much. He knows he's probably gone.
Whit Merrifield.
I mean, Whit Merrifield here. Yeah,
Merrifield.
Whit Merrifield.
I'm a former Kansas City Royal. When I was in Kansas City, we never did anything like this.
What's funny is the Royals actually probably did because they had that legendary bullpen, you know. Hey, one thing before we get to our Immaculate Grid challenge here, and then we're gonna be doing some vent lines as we go. We wanted to hit you guys with vent lines after the streaks ended because of we're doing Purple Daily, we're doing all this other stuff. We're gonna get you some vent lines for these Twins playoff games coming up in the LDS series, but we're gonna get you, if not vent line, very timely reaction episodes where we'll probably do pie charts after each game because we like putting things in pie chart form. So the Score North Twin Show is going to be a near daily show until the Twins are eliminated or not, or until they're parading down Hennepin Avenue in Minneapolis. So we're super pumped that we brought this show back, and you guys have helped validate that because we woke up this morning, or I guess went to bed last night, and we saw that on the Apple National Baseball Podcast charts, that the Score North Twin Show not only was the #1 Twins-related podcast, it was the 12th ranked baseball podcast in the country.
Thank you.
Insane. Ahead of Flippin' Bats from Fox Sports and just behind the Jared Carabas DraftKings podcast. He's the guy that left Barstool for DraftKings. And then just behind the John Boy Talkin' Yanks podcast, which is 9th. So the response from you guys, I mean, obviously, thanks to the Twins for just being super interesting and winning playoff games for the first time. But the response from you guys as we look to just recreate this community.
Told you the fans were good.
Thank you.
Told you the fans were good.
Yeah. Well, they just need something, man.
I know.
Throw them a freaking bone once
But
in a while.
that's why
and
it
the
bugs
Twins
me
did.
so much when like people in our end of the business are like, well, you're so quiet. You're too quiet. Well, yeah, no bleep, Sherlock. They lost 18 consecutive playoff games.
Well, and I think like this is like probably more information than people care about, but for us at Score North, we have 3 full-time people. Although AJ Fredrickson is now full-time helping with the Tom Bernard Show here at Hubbard and Score North and social media, so we're going to work him in the mix. We love having him. We get Ross a little bit, but it's basically the 3 of us that are creating all Score North content with some help from some contributors here and there. So when it comes down, and we know that the Vikings are 365, the Vikings are always on, right? It's hard for us to be everywhere all the time, 365 days a year. So sometimes if the Twins aren't interesting for 2 years, we have to kind of pull back on them. But now everyone's interesting. Mm-hmm. Everyone's interesting. You got the Twins winning games in the playoffs. We got
let's stop at Gopher Sports so far.
Okay, the Gophers are terrible. But other than that.
There's no Golden Gopher Daily Show for a reason.
All right, it's time for an Immaculate Grid Challenge here, presented by our friends over at Power Lodge and Miller Marine. So right now, it is beautiful, crisp fall air out here.
Oh, no. Judd, can you hop in?
Of course I can. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't have my copy points, but I'm going to tell you right now that they are the official CF Moto. And I mean, if you're watching this right now,
Look at that, huh?
if you're look at what they have available. I mean, Power Lodge, Miller Marine, throttle therapy in the summer. And you know what, Dex? They've got what you need in the winter. They are absolutely the best around. Power Lodge right there in Ramsey. They are going to make you very happy if you want to be outside this winter, and a lot of people do. It's perfect. And again, in summer, it's all about the Bennington and the throttle therapy.
Also, our friends at Universal Sports Auction, we got new items. John,
let's see what we got here.
Look at this Matt Boldy.
We got the Boldy
Got
signed.
the signed
That's nice. Oh, look at that
Matt
North Stars
Boldy.
retro.
I know those colors are your favorite. They should be wearing these
They
more.
are.
They're going to be wearing these more
I
as
do
their
love the
third
colors.
uniforms. When you go to scorenorth.com/shop, you'll see a collectibles tab from our friends at Universal Sports Auction. There's some new things on their website, and with promo code SCORE, 10% off all purchases. You can go to Universal Sports Auction. It's in the YouTube comment section. It's also on our website at scorenorth.com/shop. Go get your hands on this nice Matt Boldy jersey.
Hockey fans love the merch too, Dex.
Oh, we love the merch. Who wouldn't love the merch?
That's absolutely perfect. Framed in the man cave,
Oh, yeah.
watching games. Be absolutely perfect. All
Nothing
right,
wrong
let's
with
throw it
that.
up there.
All right, let's get
Immaculate
this Immaculate
Grid.
Grid going
And Phil will
here
come back.
as Phil comes back from the dead from his
We're
internet
almost done
gremlins.
here.
My fiance just texted me all the way in the burbs. We had a power outage, so there must be things going on around the metro here. I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah, well, I mean, you are a long ways out.
It's true.
You are a long ways out. Okay, let's see what we got here.
Hi, Phil.
He's back.
Jeez. Okay.
We got the grid coming up. And housekeeping note, Universal Sports, and shout out to our friends at Universal Sports and Miller Marine and Power Lodge. We were able to get those reads in.
Awesome.
So
Thanks for supporting our partners here.
Yeah.
Maybe we can support the internet around
The
here.
internet, yeah, do we need an internet partner?
here's the Immaculate Grid. Go ahead, Phil.
Oh, here we go. Okay, so we're looking to go 9 for 9. That's how we be immaculate today, and we'll see about a rarity score. But we're looking for a Royal who was an A, a Royal who was a Cub, and a Royal who was an Oriole. And then we're looking for an A who stole 30 bases in a season, and an A with 200 hits in a season, a Cub who swiped 30 bags, and a Cub with 200 hits in a season, an Oriole who swiped 30 bags, and an Oriole with 200 hits in a season. We'll put 8 minutes on the clock just for some structure here.
Okay.
All right, I got a Royal and a Cub for you.
Okay.
His name was Pete Lecoq.
Yeah.
Pete Lecoq.
I have his baseball card.
Who is the son of
72 to 80.
yes?
Lecoq. Is it French?
Who is the son
Hook?
of Peter Marshall, who hosted game shows?
We're good with this?
Yes.
Pete
Okay.
Lecoq.
Pete Lecoq.
1%.
1%. That's actually higher than I would have thought.
Two things. I
Lecoq
think I
was
got
higher than I thought.
Got a couple options here. Phil, I think you got a great special between the Royals and Birds, because I remember when I used to listen to the Mackey and Judd show, or Mackey and Royce show.
Yeah.
Who was a pitcher on the Royals, Phil, that always bested the Twins. You remember who I'm talking about? I'm going to try to let you figure this out.
Bruce
Bruce
Chen.
Chen?
Yep.
Bruce Chen.
Yeah.
Yep, 100%. That's a great one.
We good with that?
100%.
Bruce
Love
Chen.
me some Bruce Chen.
Got
Smoke and mirrors.
1%.
Oh, 5.
Oh, wow.
Dude, Bruce Chen he's a legend, man. He's a legend.
Johnny Damon was an Oriole.
We used him yesterday. Swaggy V.
God, he fits a lot of boxes.
He has a lot of ALDS.
Let's keep using. Anytime we can use
That's
Danny
good.
Valencia, we should use Danny Valencia.
That's great.
Okay.
0.2. Oh, boy.
Can't even look at that
We're on
look
a
on
heater
his face.
here.
And he's got the A's hat on.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, 30 plus stolen bases.
Okay, so I love these ones.
The 200 hit ones too. There's we found out the hard way that it's a lot harder to get 200 hits in
Rare.
a season than maybe we figured.
Yep.
I got a couple ideas though.
All right, 30 plus stolen bases for the A's, the obvious one, but it's going to be huge, is Ricky.
Rajay Davis.
Yep.
Will
Still
work
30
here.
plus?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Yep.
I'm with Dex on that one.
I think I
Rajay
have
Davis.
him like 2009 or something.
Rajay Davis.
2.
2%.
Did
Okay,
Bobby did Dernier ever steal 30,
Oh
Phil?
my
Do you
God.
remember?
I don't know for sure.
Juan Pierre works here. I love stolen bases was my wheelhouse. I love stolen bases.
Let me think real quick too. Like I'm
That might
trying to
be
think
high.
of mid to late 90s Cubs was my
Oh, nice.
drug. But like Sammy Sosa, I'm pretty sure had a 30 stolen base season before
Wow,
he started
really?
taking steroids. Pretty sure on that. He stole some bases. They also had guys like Mickey Morandini, who was a sneaky stolen base guy.
Yeah, from Philadelphia.
Mickey Martindini.
Yeah, he came over from Philadelphia.
He's a nice player, second baseman.
And then, do you guys remember Corey Patterson, that outfielder?
Oh,
Who also played for Baltimore.
yeah.
He did. Corey, he might have stolen 30 for Baltimore.
So Brian
Corey
Roberts
Patterson.
would work for the Birds too, because I had him in fantasy, and he was a 5-tool mat. Or not a 5-tool. He had some pop, but he stole.
He
led
stole
the league in
50 or
stolen
60
bases.
for sure. Yep.
Yeah.
He might be that might be like a 10 to 20% one, which is fine. In terms of obscure Cubs, Juan Pierre so you're saying Juan Pierre for the Cubs, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it was a brief stint that people might forget. Corey Patterson from 20 years ago.
I would say between Corey and Pierre, I feel good about those. But if you got a great '90s poll, fire away, baby.
Derek May. Trying to think of their. They had Jose Hernandez, was more of a power hitting shortstop. Ray Sanchez might have stolen 30
In
a season.
84, Gary Matthews, no, Dernier might have, more. They actually weren't that fast a team back then.
I mean, I actually think Juan Pierre is going to be because people think of him as a Marlin. I don't know that people think of him as a Cub as
Played
much.
for a lot of teams.
I'm curious to know.
Okay.
Corey Patterson's a little bit more mainstream Cub, right? Which, and again, he might work 13.
Oh, 13%.
That's okay.
It's good.
Find
it's good.
out.
It's
Corey Patterson as an Oriole
find
option
out.
might work.
I'm going to find that one.
Let's just leave that one alone for a second. Go to 200 hits. Can I give you an old school Oakland A's
Philadelphia
option?
A.
It was a Philadelphia A who was one of the 400 hitters from 100 years ago. Nap LaJoy.
okay.
Now, Nap LaJoy, he was one of those, like, before anyone hit home runs in baseball,
Great hitter, yep.
he was like a 3,000 hit guy, a 400 batting average guy in 1 year. I would assume that would equate to 200 hits in the season, right? I'm not 100% sure, but I'm like 95.
Do you want me to fire
And
it?
he would be less than 5% because he's from 100 years ago.
Okay. You want me to fire it?
That
I know
sounds
he's
good.
a 3,000 hit guy, and I know he hit 400. So
Fire it.
let's fire it.
4.
4%. Okay. Ah, see?
Oh,
Hey, knock the door. Here it goes.
That's
Right in the
not
face.
LaJoy, see?
all
Hey,
right.
you know what? I think,
right.
well, Tejada would have worked for the A's. He might work for the Birds. Tejada still had some really good years with
He was
Oakland.
definitely like an all-star with the
Yeah.
Birds.
There
Another
were some
guy. Here's another
old
guy.
school Orioles.
We know Cal Ripken did it, but that's probably the biggest
That'll
one.
be absurdly high.
Roberto Alomar? I'm trying to think like old Orioles.
Frank Robinson?
Oh, Frank. That could be good.
Frank Robinson was a great Red and a great Oriole.
For Cub 200 hit seasons, we've used Rogers Hornsby for other big things. Rogers Hornsby we probably used like 3 times. As a Cub, as a Cardinal from 100 years ago. He was a 300-ish career hitter, like another guy that.
Am I having deja vu? Didn't we try that once and it was like a 199 or who am I? We've had a couple of those ridiculous. Was it not Hornsby?
I don't think it was Hornsby, was it?
Okay, I believe you.
Yeah, he was. I'm never 100% sure with the 200 hits guys because it is weird. But if he was, it would be less than 5%.
Well, let's go back
100 years ago. All right,
let's go back to the '80s Cubs. Because there were some.
Didn't
Mark Grace probably had 200 hits in the season,
Mark Grace
right?
is good.
That's a good one.
The Red Sox, the
Billy Buckner.
Bill Buckner wasn't he was with the Cubs before the Red Sox?
He's a good hitter. I don't
right?
remember if he was two.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he was
really
a Dodger, a Cub, and then a Red Sox.
Mm-hmm.
That could be I wouldn't. I know
That's
he
a good
played for
obscure.
the Cubs.
I mean that's an obscure poll.
I mean he was better with the Cubs than he was with the Red Sox, wasn't he?
Yes.
I kind of like that one.
He just eventually lost the first base job, I think, to Leon.
And Joe, was he like was he a 300 hitter?
Yes, he was Mark Grace before Mark Grace.
So here's my logic there, where I would side with this one, is that guys struck out a lot less back in that day.
Right.
Yeah.
If he hit 300, and I guess the strikeouts wouldn't, and they walked less too. So what I'm saying is like when you hit 300, you don't have as many walks eating into it. I think Billy Buckner could be a fun one for a low rarity score.
Okay.
You do it.
I like that one. Billy Buckner.
Bill Buckner, not Billy. There's 2 of them, I guess.
William Buckner. One time. Bang, 3%.
Nice. Look at that mustache,
stash.
too. Look at that stash. And he was great on curb before he
right.
died. He was on curb.
He was on
Threw me the baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, that's a great upset.
So we know we can finish this out with Brian Roberts and somebody else. Should we just do Brian Roberts?
Brian Roberts, yeah.
Let's just get this on the board.
This might be like 20%.
1 to 14.
Let's see.
16.
16%. What are we at now? So 29, 34, 35, 37. We're sitting at like 40. So if we can get something that's 5% or less, we would be
so
under
hard
50%.
200 hits.
So Orioles.
We know Cal
Orioles.
Ripken.
Cal Ripken.
Brady Anderson probably did it. He was a pretty
Brady
good
Anderson?
hitter for a little bit.
He had 52 home runs in a season?
Who else did we write down?
Man,
Corey
Tejada.
Patterson for the steals. I'm just gonna check Patterson for the steal. I know he didn't have 200 hits in a season, so I'm just gonna Google Patterson for the
All right. Okay.
steals, just to see if we had one there.
We had Tejada.
I think we did.
I swear he did it after the A's. He
Damn
got
it,
popped
Corey
for roids,
Patterson
right?
stole 45 and 37 with the
boy.
with the O's. It's okay. You know, Tejada was a really good hitter. It's so hard with the 200 hits, but
You just try it?
I'm trying to think of other guys. Like he was a 300 hitter. Maybe he was one of the best hitters in
200
baseball.
hits is a really hard one because even guys in the 70s, it's not like it was a regular thing, you know? Like there were certain guys.
But they didn't like have a lot of other guys, I feel like. The
Eddie
Orioles.
Murray
I mean,
was a good
Eddie
player,
Murray.
but he was more of a power hitter. I don't think
What a weird franchise, the Orioles.
Yeah,
The Birds.
well, and before
Birds.
that, they were the St. Louis Browns, which was a complete
out for the
dumpster
Birds.
fire.
I'm cool taking a shot on Tejada.
Okay.
I mean, Ripken's the one that we would go with if we were trying, but Tejada's going to be lower than Ripken.
Cool.
Tejada,
18%.
Oh,
we got it. Oh, he's less than that.
5.
5%.
Miguel Tejada, nice.
Wow.
Nice
call.
job, boys.
Good call.
Boom.
Oh, 12. 12 birds did it. Let's see here. Miguel Tejada did it twice. How about BJ Suroff in 1999?
That's a great one.
That's a good one, but I never would have got
He was
that.
a Brewer too, wasn't he?
Yes.
Al Bumby, 1980.
Oh, Bunbury.
Bunbury.
He did it?
Yep. Once.
Holy cow. What did he have?
205.
Oh, wow. He
And
was
then a
nice.
bunch of guys
I didn't
from
know
the
he had 200
40s when they
hits.
were the St. Louis. So really only Tejada, Surhoff, Ripken, and Bunbury were the only guys to.
Tejada
with
had
the
200
Baltimore
hits
Birds.
3 times with Oakland in 2002.
Good
And
hitter.
then 2004 and 2006.
Good ball player. Good ball player there. That Miguel.
Some good shortstops back then, gentlemen. Gita,
Bill Buckner would have worked for
Garcia.
stolen bases, too, with the Cubs. That's interesting.
Who did?
Bill Buckner would have worked for stolen bases with the Cubs as well.
God, I
Did
never
Sammy
would've got
Sosa
that.
get? Did Sammy Sosa get
No.
30 with the Cubs?
No.
Oh, Sandberg did, though.
Billy
That
Williams
Sandberg
did it
was
a bunch.
Yeah. So Sammy Sosa, how about this, dude? Yeah, Sammy Sosa stole 36 in 1993. He had a 30-30 season with the Cubs
What?
in 1993.
Huh. Usually, that's weird. Because usually on the player thing, like when I click on 15, it shows the list of Cubs, and Sammy is not.
He
on
also
there.
had
That's strange.
34 in 1995. He stole
So would it not
32 with
have
the White
worked?
Sox in 1992. Sosa would have worked. Well,
No,
unless
but
it's
I'm
telling
saying,
us.
if he doesn't show up on the grid that Declan's scrolling through.
Oh, I'm
Let's
looking at
get-
hits. I'm looking at hits.
Oh, never
Reading's
mind.
hard.
Forget it.
Yes.
I'm done.
All right.
Griffin Jax.
Well, there it
later.
is. The Minnesota Twins have advanced to the American League Division Series. And we'll have you covered. Post-game shows, reactions. We've got Vikings-Chiefs this weekend. A little Vikings vent line after that game. So thank you guys for making the Score North Twin Show one of the top 12 baseball podcasts in America on this glorious Thursday here. We will catch you guys tomorrow for a Feedback Friday edition of the Score North Twin Show.